As soon as the voice fell, Jacob's cell phone rang suddenly, and he was surprised and said, "It's my eldest brother." After speaking, he quickly picked up the phone to connect. Noah said coldly on the phone, "You said just now that you want this set of furniture for $1.2 million, is it true?" When Jacob heard this, he said with excitement, "Of course it is true, 1.2 million, I want it." Noah said angrily, "Okay, since you really want it, put the money on mother's card, and this furniture will be sold to you." Jacob left an eye on it and said, "In this way, you send the furniture to Thompson. After the furniture is unloaded, I will pay immediately." Noah on the other side of the phone hesitated for a moment, and said, "Okay. Things are in the car now and can be transported at any time." Jacob hurriedly said, "Well, let's see you at Thompson. I'll wait for you there." After speaking, Jacob immediately hung up and said excitedly, "Charlie, you guessed it. They are willing to sell." Elaine's expression suddenly became very ugly. Not only did she just say something, she was slapped in the face by a phone call by Jacob. But more importantly, if Jacob bought the old furniture with this 1.2 million, wouldn't the family have no money? Thinking of this, Elaine was extremely depressed, and the look in Charlie's eyes was almost humane. Charlie didn't bother to talk to Elaine. He knew exactly what Elaine wanted, so the more she couldn't get it, the more interesting he found it. It just so happened that the family of four had also bought other furniture, so Charlie drove the car and drove the family to Thompson. Thompson's villa has been completely completed. Except for the lack of furniture, everything else is full of incomparable luxury. The decoration of the living room is magnificent. The whole floor is polished by natural marble, like a mirror, which makes people feel like a mirror. It feels magnificent. Elaine looked at the extravagant decoration, her pores were stretched out, and she was happy from ear to ear. Jacob was also inexplicably surprised, and said with emotion, "When I saw it last time, the decoration was not finished yet, and the living room is still covered with scratch-resistant floor mats. I can't see the details. If I look at it today, it looks more stylish than the palace. Claire does the decoration herself, so you can see the cost of the decoration of this villa at a glance." She pulled Charlie aside and whispered, "This decoration probably costs tens of millions. Why is Solomon White doing this? Generous?" Charlie said, "After all, it's a rich man. A villa worth more than 1 billion is given away, so tens of millions of decorations are nothing." "Okay." Claire stuck her tongue out and said, "This is the first time I have seen such a high-standard residential decoration. It's too scary." Charlie smiled without saying a word. In his mind, there are still many memories of being in the Wade family as a child. The Wade family mansion in my memory was many times more luxurious than this 10 or 20 years ago. Just when Claire's family of 3 were amazed by the luxurious decoration of the villa, Noah led the truck with the goods and arrived at the door of Thompson Villa. Jacob was overjoyed and hurried out to direct the porters to move the Hainan classical furniture into the villa. Old Mrs. Wilson took Noah, Harold and Wendy, got out of the car and took a look in the courtyard. After the villa's courtyard was renovated, it was much more luxurious than before, and the 4 of them felt uncomfortable to death. Noah went into the villa because he had to follow in to see how the furniture was moved. When he came out, his face looked many times uglier than before. Mrs. Wilson couldn't help asking, "Noah, how is the decoration inside?" "Hey." Noah sighed and said uncomfortably, "I have never seen such a luxurious decoration. It's so dizzy." "Really?" The old Mrs. Wilson came to her energy, blurted out, "I want to go in and take a look." Harold also wanted to see an insight, so he hurriedly said, "Grandma, I will join you." Wendy looked at this villa with an extremely complicated mood. She used to be the fiancée of Gerald, and this villa was owned by Gerald's uncle Solomon White. If she had married Gerald, she could not only come here often, but might even live here. But now, the one who is about to live here is Claire, who she has never looked down upon and has been very upset. Thinking of this, she couldn't help saying, "Grandma, I'll be with you too." After speaking, she walked up quickly, and supported her grandma with her brother Harold from left to right. The grandma walked into the living room, looking at the magnificent and carved decoration. They couldn't even speak in amazement. Above the living room, there is an oversized ceiling of more than 10 meters high. In the center is a huge and luxurious golden crystal lamp. The light is refracted through the crystal and it is colorful, and it is so beautiful that it is suffocating. Old Mrs. Wilson stood in the living room, her legs trembling. Her own villa, if compared with this place, is simply a huge pit. The decoration here is simply countless times stronger than that of her own villa. The Lady Wilson couldn't help thinking, what a pleasant experience would it be if she could live here. She's afraid that she just want to stay at home every day, look here, touch there. It's a pity that she has no life. This son, Jacob, doesn't look at the usual squanderings. He is really lucky in choosing a son-in-law. Who would have thought that the smelly rug from an orphanage like Charlie could have such good luck? Knowing this a long time ago, she would never look down on Charlie at the beginning, and be polite to him when she said thing, and be polite to Jacob's family. In that case, she might have the opportunity to live in this luxurious villa. It is a pity that she had clearly severed the relationship with Jacob at the beginning. Even if she wanted to restore the relationship with him, she would not agree. Harold and Wendy on the side felt even more uncomfortable. Wendy looked at this palace-like living room, her eyes even turned red.